So tell me, what's it like being enthralled after being captured by a fate-like creature? Hello, everybody. It's Josiah, your friendly neighborhood INFP, and we are going to be talking about, of course, INFP with a fate creature. I mean, INFP with INFJ. This is going to be a type that actually, from my understanding on multiple groups, that a lot of people tend to like. A lot of INFPs tend to like the INFP with the INFJ dynamic, which is interesting to me because you are essentially dating the Fae. Which, I mean, I honestly, yeah, I can see how that would be appealing. Now that I'm thinking, I can see how dating a Fae would be appealing. Not that to say that the INFJs are Fae, but they might as well be Fae, because they're kind of like the outsiders looking in, and then they kind of like go in, but they go out, but they help, but they don't help. It's like all a very mysterious and enthralling experience. And, you know, you're going to be having some epic discussions with them. A lot of them tend to get tired of being compared to like magical creatures, but when you're like the rarest or one of the rarest personality types out there, you're going to be compared to magical creatures, just like, you know, some other types out there. So, this is going to be a relationship that is going to be very idealized. I don't even know if emotionally open would be like the right term here, but it's like both would be very interested in the psyche of the other, but also in the psyche of themselves. But also the INFJ would be like the one who would be able to predict certain things, and the INFP would be the one, like, weirdly enough, bringing the INFJ into reality, but then the INFJ is bringing in the INFP into reality, and like people looking at this couple don't exactly know what's going on because it's so alien almost, but it's also sweet to look at. But you're like, you're trying to figure it out, but you can't figure it out because they're so deep into their own worlds that trying to interrupt it, you don't even know where to begin half the time, because there isn't really anybody that technically brings the other one down into the real world except onto a certain point. So technically both of them are either living in space or in the clouds. It's that kind of relationship, you know, that hence the Fae analogy at the beginning of the video. They're both going to be, I would say the INFJ is going to be the one who probably takes care of things the most, helps plan things out, helps the INFP kind of like put order to things to an extent. They're going to help INFP come up with a future plan. Like, they'll hear all the things that the INFP wants to do, and they'll be like, okay, hey, that's cool. What are your steps to getting to go there? They're the ones who are going to want to like dive like real deep into the deepest oceans of the INFP, and the INFP is going to want to like help the INFJ understand themselves. So they also are going to dive into the deepest oceans of the INFJ, mostly to bring about an understanding of each other. So they're not only are they trying to bring about an understanding of each other, this is also, I would imagine, going to be a very philosophical, theological, all the logical type relationship where it is almost very Trekkian would be the term, but it's not Trekkian, but it kind of is Trekkian if you like take in some of this like Star Trek questions that they pose, and it's almost like an episode that you're watching, but it's reality, but it feels like an episode, but it's reality, and you know you're in reality, and you know the things are going on, but the way things are going on feels like it's a TV show, and that is your relationship. Added on to that relationship, there's going to be like several times of prophetic situations simply due to the INFJ knowing various patterns, and they will be able to predict certain things happening, and the INFP is going to be like super blown away, like, how did you know that was going to happen? I didn't even know that was going to happen. What is going on here? And either that, or they're going to like make out with them as soon as they find out, and that may have been exactly what the INFJ was predicting. Now, this is also a couple that is very likely not going to be heavy into PDA, and they're probably going to keep a lot of things like in closed doors. Like these guys are probably going to have a lot of secrets. There's going to be a lot of things that they keep to themselves, a lot of things that both of them know about each other, but nobody else will know about them. It's probably going to be one of the most private types that an INFP would likely date, if not the most private type. The other one would be with the INTJ, but I'll talk about that later if I remember. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a very shrouded in mystery type of couple. Like one could potentially even write a detective novel about this. I don't think it would go as far as detective or as noir as say an ISTP or an INTJ would go, but it would almost feel like a noir type thing. Maybe closer to Who Framed Roger. No, it wouldn't even be Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's like they keep you guessing. That's the point of this relationship. It keeps you like they will dive into each other and they will try and learn what they can about each other, and they will be very close to each other and very loyal to each other and very protective of each other as well. But to everybody else, you'll know they're a couple, but you'll know potentially very little about what goes on behind closed doors, because unless it comes out of the INFP's mouth, because the INFP is going to be likely the one who, whether caught in daydreams or whatever, is probably going to spill the beans first before the INFJ does. So unless they get the answer out of the INFP, a lot of it is going to be shrouded in mystery. And maybe that's the point, because then certain other fantastical things can happen. And listen, if you want to be transported into a magical land that nobody else knows about, this is probably that relationship, the relationship that shows you that mystical creatures are in fact real, and the INFJ knows the secrets as to how to get to each one of those mystical creatures, except they don't because they're not actually real. Or are they? Maybe they just don't want you to know because they want to keep that secret to themselves, and they've been keeping that secret to themselves since ever since the time they've started dating the INFP. And maybe it's due to dating the INFP that they've started keeping those secrets to themselves, because it's due to the INFP that those mystical creatures have started to appear. I sense a conspiracy going on here. So, with that being said, conspiracies aside, I'll see you guys for the next video.